Hi everyone, back for a garden tour finally. Had the last week off, I was on vacation, and I could have gotten a video for you right before I left, but there wasn't really enough change. As you can probably see, there's been a lot since then. Flowers definitely on their last leg. These black-eyed peas are doing great. Interestingly, they've caught up to each other, because I don't know if you remember or not, but to the left here, this is a double row, and it was planted a week before this one. But if you'll see, they're pretty much identical, which is interesting. Down there on the end, you'll see a lighter color. Those are green beans. This is another row of green beans. And they're doing okay. They didn't come up really well. You'll see the spots. And I don't know if it was just that seed or what happened, but they didn't come up very well. This next row is my new butter beans, and they're looking great. They're actually getting ready to bloom. So hopefully that experiment will go well. You can see the little buds on there. They'll be blooming in the next week. They're looking great. I think I will supplement all of these with a little bit of fertilizer, just because this ground was farmed already this season. So I think a little bit of extra will help them out, but I'll get back to you on what that's going to be. Butterbean plants, these are the original ones, definitely looking worse for wear. I'm actually going to just pull them up and harvest the beans that are on them. Sorry about the car. And then do something about all these weeds and put something else back in the spot. I'm going to try really hard this fall, winter to not have open exposed ground over the winter. I want to have it covered, whether that's cover crop or whether it's actual crops I'm eating, but I want to have it covered. If you'll remember, this is where I planted my radishes, and you'll see they've come up fairly well, much better on the left side for some reason than the right. No idea why. The middle hasn't really come up at all, and that could be because this line is sitting on top of them, but it could also be that that was too much water for them. But we will see how they do. They typically only take about 30 days, so we should have radishes pretty quickly. I did see, let's see if we can find them again. So we do have some little beets coming up. That's what a baby beet looks like. There's a better one. They typically have this red-purple veining, but that's your baby beet. So those are coming up, not as well yet as the radishes, but they do take a little bit longer to get themselves together. Come down here, you'll remember our squash experiment. The plants are looking great. They don't have a lot of size to them just yet, and I will give them some fertilizer as well. But they're looking good so far, and not a sign of a squash bug yet, knock on wood. Moving over here to the peanuts. They are what I'm calling done. I dug up one the other day when I got back from vacation, and it had a fully formed peanut pod with peanuts inside, and they were fully formed in the shell, ready to go. So I'm going to be pulling these up in the next day or so. I was going to do it today. We've had some rain, and I don't really want to, there's more rain in the forecast, and I don't really want them to get rained on when I harvest them. But I think I'll do a whole nother video on peanuts and the harvesting process and how that's going to go. So we've gotten these peanuts harvested, and this is what they look like. We've flipped them up so that the nuts are up in the air. Shook off as much of the dirt as we could, and now we're just going to let them hang out here in the sun until really until there's a threat of rain, but no more than 10 days. So we'll come back and keep an eye on them. And then the next thing will be to take them off the plants. But next, of course, is our cotton. And it's looking beautiful as ever. But we had some downdrafts, what I'm assuming were downdrafts, in a bad storm a couple days ago. And so a lot of it has fallen over to the side. And I don't know if that's going to be a problem when it tries to break those pods open. So let me see if I can show you now that they're like this. So these are actually where the cotton is going to come from. So up here you have your flower blooms, your flower buds. And then once the flowers are done and they've been pollinated, they turn into these like fruits. And when the cotton inside there is fully formed and ready, it will bust the outside of that hole, and that white, beautiful fluffiness will be inside. So I'm hoping that these will be okay. I'm going to ask my dad and see what he thinks we need to do. We may have to stake them up to try and save them. It also looks like a pumpkin has gotten in there. That could be part of the problem. You'll also see some morning glories back there. They're always a nuisance. I don't know that we're going to be successful with pumpkins. They're looking pretty rough. Since I was gone, I wasn't able to spray them and keep the squash bugs away. This one up here is still really full of blooms. And it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look terrible. But I just don't know. I don't know that they're going to make it. There's some squash bugs on it right there. So I think we'll be buying pumpkins this year. But that's okay. Next year we'll put more effort into it. And hopefully have a nice patch of pumpkins. Marigolds kind of on their last leg. I'm going to start going through and collecting seeds for seed pods for them so that I have plenty to plant another hedge next year. I love having them. I love the smell. I love having the pollinators. They're really great. You'll see the basil back there over here doing really great. Several different bunches of them going down there. I'll harvest a bunch of that before it gets too chilly and figure out what to do with it. I'll probably dry it. Peppers here, getting really yellow, pretty much given up on the season. We'll come through and pick what is on here and then pretty much be done with them. But really they've done very well for not getting a whole lot of attention and pretty much just doing their thing. This is one of the, I think it's a Thai basil, or a cinnamon basil that somehow survived. I did plant it from seed, but it somehow survived us tilling this up several times and planting other things. But it looks really happy and is doing great. The tomatoes down there, let's see if we can look at them. The zinnias have really fallen over and have created quite the mess in trying to get there. Let's see. Between them and the morning glories, it's very hard to do lots of things out here. So, let's see here. Try and get through. So you'll see lots of tomatoes on this. There's actually a ripe one down there. There's a second ripe one. Lots of morning glories. So here's one of the ones that we saved. It's getting ready to bloom. It does have some mites on it, so I'm going to have to do something about them. You can see the ones down there. That one looks great. That other one is looking good. Down here that we put in our little cage, they're looking great. They just have to catch up to the season because this is their second round of growing. These zinnias are taller than me now, some of them. Very pretty, full of flowers. These were the last bunch that I sowed. And they're looking great. I need to come and cut some more. Going over here, you'll remember this is where I started a bunch of seeds not that long ago. So naturally, a lot of them haven't come up yet. I believe this side, so that I think is a volunteer cucumber. We're just letting him go. But I believe the beginnings of this were broccoli, and so was this one. And then the ends were cabbage and Brussels sprouts. The same over on the other side, and there's also celery, but none of that has come up yet. But check out the peas. So the green peas have come up, and they look beautiful. I'll be getting, let's see if you can see how tall they are. I'll be getting a trellis in there for them so that they can do their thing. But you can see the 2 rows going all the way down. So they've done great, which is awesome. Sunflowers have given up. They're done. The birds have loved them. Last little zinnias on that back row are still trying to hang in there. But that's pretty much where we are. So right now, it's kind of in garden cleanup mode. So it's getting the last things harvested from summer, and then getting things ready for fall. Doing a little bit of pest control, not a lot, because by this time of the year, the plants really have just had it, so it doesn't really matter if you try and do anything about their pests. But yeah, so that's where we are. So I'm going to pull up these butter beans and get them off the plants. I'm going to then put the plants, I think, right back where they were and just let them be mulch until I'm ready to do something with that row. And then in the next couple days, we'll take care of these peanuts and I'll show you them. And if we decide to stake the cotton, which I think we're going to have to, I'll show you what that looked like too. And I forgot about the sweet potatoes way down there, but I'll make sure next week to show you what those are doing. But thanks for coming along. Thanks for being patient with me while I went on vacation. I will share some little videos on that for those who are interested. But yeah, a little bit rainy today. Sun's trying to peek out now. But we did have our first below 50-degree night. Not last night, but the night before. So that would be September 8th-ish. I'll have to look back in my records and see if that's early, if that's late. I think it's a little bit early, but I'll have to look back and see. For the most part this year, we've been about 2 weeks early on things. So I'm curious to see if we're going to also be 2 weeks early on frost. Our typical first frost is between Halloween and the 15th of November. So, which puts us in zone 7B-ish, far as the planting zone. But the last few years we've been closer to that November 15th. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully these new things that I've planted will do their thing and be harvested and good to go by the time that frost gets here. Because let's see, it's almost mid-September now, so that gives us 2 months. 2 months max, far as averages, until our first frost. So these things really have to get to going, which is also why I'm going to give them some fertilizer and try and speed them up as they're losing more and more sunlight every day. But anyways, thanks for coming along. Thanks for having conversations and questions and chatting about anything you want to know about. Please leave a comment, and if I don't know, someone else hopefully will, and if not, we'll find an answer for you. I also have had a soil survey done out here, soil testing. I'll do a video on that and explain that. I have gotten the results, and that's going to dictate some of my fertilizer I put down here shortly. But I'll explain that in another video. I'll also bring some more cooking videos out if you'd like to see more cooking videos. I won't have a whole lot of canning videos left for the season because there's just not going to be a whole lot left for me to can. I prefer to only can what I grow because I know what's in it. Otherwise, you might as well just eat the commercially grown cans on the shelves. So might have enough butter beans here to do something with. I don't think so. By the time I spread them amongst people. Oh, we will be making, hopefully, we will be making peanut butter. So when we get to that, I'll show you how we do that. Don't think we'll have any pumpkin to can, so that won't be going on. We may end up with enough peas and green beans to can. We'll just have to play that by ear and see what happens. But anyways, I have babbled on long enough, so I'm going to leave you with the sounds of the farm, and the astute of you will be able to tell that our sounds have changed. So listen, turn your sound up, give it a listen, and see if you notice the differences.